Captain Marvel is back for her first big-screen adventure since Avengers Endgame, and this time we're seeing triple. Here's everything you need to know about the movie, from the character's story so far to the people behind the scenes who put it all together. The Marvels has had a rocky road to theaters. Originally, the film was set for February 17, 2023, which would have made it the first installment of Phase 5. However, the filmmakers needed more time to perfect the film. So Marvel decided to swap the Marvels with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, pulling the Ant-Man threequel from its July 28th release date and giving it the original Marvel's landing pad of February 17th. However, on the very day that Quantumania hit theaters, it was reported that Disney was shifting the Marvels yet again, pushing it back to November 10th, 2023. Studio insiders have said the movie needed additional time in post-production. The MCU has come under a lot of fire recently for its shoddy VFX work, largely a result of the studio's hurried release schedule. This decision also coincided with Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige saying that the MCU would be slowing down its Disney Plus output to ensure higher quality, as well as the absolute shellacking Quantumania received from critics. Hopefully, this extra time will give the Marvels a boost it needs to shine on the screen. The Marvels boast an incredibly talented cast. Needless to say, Oscar winner Brie Larson is returning as Carol Danvers. Before joining the MCU, Larson wowed critics and audiences in projects like Room, Short Term 12, and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and has since become part of the Fast and Furious franchise in its 10th installment, Fast X. Joining her for this turn on the big screen is Tiana Paris as Monica Rambeau, who was introduced in WandaVision. In addition to her superhero work, Paris has received plaudits for her work in movies like Candyman and If Beale Street Could Talk, along with AMC's Mad Men. Then of course there's Iman Vellani, who's making her big screen debut as Kamala Khan. Ms. Marvel was Vellani's first professional acting job, and she wowed everyone as a wannabe superhero. But who will be joining Larson, Paris, and Vellani in the film? Well, Zawe Ashton plays the story's big bad, a Kree revolutionary named Dar-Benn. You may have already seen Ashton in the horror flick Velvet Buzzsaw, the period drama Mr. Malcolm's List, or the British dramedy series Fresh Meat. Meanwhile, Samuel L. Jackson will be putting on the eye patch again to play Nick Fury. Movie fans will get another treat in the form of South Korean actor Park Seo-joon of Parasite, who is set to join the MCU. Marvel is keeping Park's upcoming role under wraps, but the Marvel's producer Mary Livanos confirmed will be an ally to Captain Marvel and her newfound team. Rumors also suggest that he'll be closer to the former Kree warrior than anyone would have guessed, as he may be her secret husband, but only time will tell.
I'm feeling so many feelings right now.
The official plot synopsis for the Marvels reveals that our three leading ladies are in quite the superpowered predicament. Whenever one of these heroes uses their powers, all three switch places with one another. That's not great in the best of circumstances. It's even worse when you're dealing with a Kree warrior armed with a Cosmorod. Of course, the most important element of the film will be the relationship between Carol, Kamala, and Monica. We know Kamala will be fangirling out upon meeting her idol, Captain Marvel, and she'll be pretty impressed by Monica too. As Kevin Feige explained to Entertainment Weekly, the great thing about Kamala is that she's not unlike Tom Holland's Peter Parker in Civil War. She can't believe she's with these other heroes and can't believe that she finds herself in these places. Perhaps more interesting will be the relationship between Carol and Monica. While Captain Marvel was an important part of Monica's childhood and best friends with her mom, the late Maria, WandaVision showed us that Monica harbors some resentment against Carol for disappearing from their lives. In short, there will be no shortage of cosmic and personal drama in the Marvels. Nia DaCosta is making history by helming the Marvels. Not only is she the fourth woman to ever direct an MCU movie, but she's both the youngest person and the first black woman to do so. DaCosta made a name for herself by directing the crime drama Little Woods, which starred Tessa Thompson and Lily James, and won the Nora Ephron Prize at the Tribeca Film Festival. She then impressed horror fans by directing 2021's Candyman reboot, based on a script co-written by horror maestro Jordan Peele. Now she finds herself handling the challenge of making a Captain Marvel sequel, or trying to balance screen time between three leads. DaCosta elaborated on this a bit to Inverse, saying, "A lot of what we've been thinking about is what part of the journey do we need to see for each of them. How do we honor the part of the story they're at in terms of the canon, while also within our story making them equal?" DaCosta also revealed why she's the perfect pick for the upcoming flick. It's because she loves this stuff. She told Inverse, "I like to call myself Marvel trash. Actually, my friends call me that. I will go see all the movies. Even if it's bad, I'm like, Well, there are some good things about this. I grew up with the comics. I grew up watching the Spider-Man cartoon and the Fantastic Four. I knew a lot about the Marvel Universe in general. Just like it sometimes takes a team of superheroes to tackle a problem, sometimes it takes a team of screenwriters to produce the best possible story. For proof, look no further than the Marvels, which boasts 3 scribes penning the script. One of the screenwriters is director Nia DaCosta, and she's joined by Megan McDonnell, who became a Marvel darling after her work on WandaVision. As a member of the writing team, McDonnell is the one who came up with the Ship of Theseus conversation between Vision and White Vision, and she's also working on the upcoming Agatha Darkhold Diaries. The third writer in the room is Alyssa Karasik, who worked on the Disney Plus series Loki, notably the episode The Variant, where the God of Mischief and Mobius search through different apocalyptic events on the hunt for a murderous Sylvie. Zawe Ashton is making her MCU debut as the villain Dar-Benn, a Kree revolutionary warrior who wants revenge on Captain Marvel. What's interesting about this casting is that Dar-Benn is historically male in the comics, but Marvel has updated the character to produce a superhero film with 4 female leads. However, many of Dar-Benn's core characteristics and motives are taken straight out of the comics. Dar-Benn's hatred of Captain Marvel, whom she calls the Annihilator, comes from Carol's actions after 1995. By defeating the Supreme Intelligence, she destabilized the Kree Empire, which seems to have left a power vacuum. But the fanatical Dar-Benn is ready to end the ongoing Kree civil conflict and rebuild the Empire's legacy, and she is willing to wage an interstellar war to do it.
She's targeting every planet we call home.
Unfortunately, in the comics, Dar-Benn succeeds with his plan, although his reign is short-lived. However, this doesn't mean the same is in store for Ashton's iteration of the character. Having been reimagined for the big screen means a new plotline is fair game too. The Marvels film will pick up in the immediate aftermath of the Ms. Marvel post-credit scene, where Kamala Khan suddenly vanishes from her bedroom and is replaced by Carol Danvers, setting up the events of the upcoming film. As for Carol herself, we were introduced to the superpowered Space Ranger in Captain Marvel, where she initially operated as a Kree soldier named Veers. After crash landing on Earth and running across Nick Fury, she slowly learned her true identity, that the Kree were manipulating her, and that her sworn enemies, the shape-shifting Skrulls, were actually victims in need of a hero. After coming into her full potential and defeating the Kree, Carol joined the Avengers in Avengers Endgame, and played an instrumental part in defeating Thanos during the Battle of Earth. Meanwhile, WandaVision reintroduced Monica Rambeau, who was last seen as a child in Captain Marvel. Monica returned from the snap and went back to work at S.W.O.R.D., where she became a key player in dealing with Wanda Maximoff. Along the way, Monica gained superpowers of her own. After saving the town of Westview, she was approached by a Skrull agent and asked to join Nick Fury in space. The former director of S.H.I.E.L.D. had been spending his time in the cosmos. However, the Marvels is set after his return to Earth in Secret Invasion. One of the biggest questions going into the Marvels is what has Carol Danvers been doing since 1995? Even her reappearance in Avengers Endgame didn't give much away. Thankfully, the official synopsis for the upcoming movie gives us a big hint, noting that while Carol has reclaimed her identity and defeated the Kree's supreme intelligence, unintended consequences see Carol shouldering the burden of a destabilized universe. The movie is expected to be set in 2025, so Carol has now been flying around the universe for 30 years. As Secret Invasion revealed, she and Nick Fury ultimately failed in their mission to find the Skrulls a new home. But it sounds like Captain Marvel has dedicated herself to other worthy fights instead. After all, shouldering the burden of protecting the entire universe also seems like the only conceivable reason that Carol has been so absent from Maria and Monica's lives. It also seems likely that Carol will be holding tightly onto a few secrets from those missing years as well. It's even possible that she got married. It's highly speculated that Park Seo-joon's character will be Prince Yan, the ruler of a musical planet where the inhabitants communicate through song. This marriage is something that hails from the comics, and even if it is just a front for a temporary alliance, Carol having a husband is definitely an interesting twist for someone so insistent on going it alone. While Iman Vellani's Kamala Khan will be ecstatic to meet her longtime hero and namesake Captain Marvel, Teyana Parris's Monica Rambeau will likely be less enthusiastic about reuniting with her estranged aunt. The relationship between Carol and Monica was revealed in WandaVision. Having been a victim of Thanos' snap, Monica returned 5 years later to discover her mother, Maria, had died from cancer. Now she's dealing with some serious grief, as well as anger towards Carol for abandoning her and her dying mom. The problems between them will be tricky to navigate, and there's no easy fix for either of them. especially Monica. However, the movie synopsis also teases that, along with Kamala, this unlikely trio must team up and learn to work in concert to save the universe as the Marvels. So it sounds like saving the world together might just be what these two need to start working through their issues.
Higher, further, faster.
The Marvel star Brie Larson has addressed her fate in the MCU ahead of the upcoming film, after it was reported that she signed a 7-picture deal with Marvel. This suggested that Carol Danvers would be sticking around to save the galaxy for a long time, but Larson has something different to say on the subject. Responding on Twitter, she categorically denied the claims and later said that she had no idea if her character would even appear in future MCU vehicles. This leaves Carol's fate uncertain, with 2 young superheroes ready to take up her mantle should Dar-Benn succeed in her mission. Meanwhile, Kamala's appearance in Avengers Secret Wars is seemingly confirmed, so we can expect to see this young superhero survive her encounter with the Kree Revolutionary and return soon. But what about the third member of the Marvels? Unlike Valani, Tiana Paris is not currently slated to make another MCU appearance at this point. However, with Carol probably feeling some guilt that her best friend died while there was nothing she could do, it seems unlikely she's about to let anything happen to her niece if she can help it. She could even sacrifice herself to protect Monica. But here's hoping all 3 leading ladies make it out alive.